We often refer to the Performax Difference as what sets us apart from other Australian companies in our field. Existing customers and those who have experienced our vehicles via a test drive or have visited our conversion facility have learned firsthand what this means.
Fantastic.
To convey this,
Impressive.
without having the benefit of being able to drive one of our vehicles or being here to see the conversion process, listen to our Research and Development Manager, to an absolute performance vehicle expert, Supercar racing driver Russell Ingall, and our Production Manager Shane Hollandale. Just beware, those that have experienced the Performax Difference for themselves have been so in awe of what we achieve here, very few have been able to withstand the temptation of owning a Performax truck or muscle car.
Performax Difference is just things like development of components we don't have available in right-hand drive. So for an example is the ventilation system in the Chevy truck. The original ventilation system, as we move the heater box over, isn't able to be copied, and what we basically do is set a vehicle up, develop, draw. We can 3D prototype with our 3D printer, assemble it in a vehicle, and we can flow it, we can test it. With any alterations that are taken into consideration, we can make those alterations. We can also look at the parts, and through our moulding techniques that we do here, we then examine a component, look for undercuts and best possible way of moulding it and reproducing it to replicate an equivalent of an OE component. Now with some of these components, when they're assembled in the vehicle, after doing the testing on them, we actually find that we've had better results than what genuine original components fitted to the vehicle do. With other components, not just on the rack, but we have the ability to grab a left-hand drive component, and we have a 3D scanner. And a 3D scanner gives us the ability to basically scan an item three-dimensionally. We can then simulate that and export that into CAD, and by making our new component, we can either use it as an overlay or use it as a component to get a true mirror image of the component. These components can be printed in our 3D printer, and one of the best things with the 3D printer is we can print it out, try it, doesn't fit, or there's slight alterations we made to it, we can make those alterations, we can print it out again. All of our components we keep a record of, and they're all documented into a parts catalogue. Now, the parts catalogue also contains parts that have become obsolete. Now the reason their records are kept of those is obviously previous conversions that we've done. If something ever comes back about the vehicle, there's repairs to be carried out, we still have a record of what components would have been used on older vehicles.
Well, this is what sells it.
Yeah.
This is what will sell your business, you know, because the problem is, I think, with this industry over the years, there's been quite a few cowboys, you know, and probably put people off from the quality and bad raps to that. Then they come here and see it's, you know, as good as you're going to get out of the factory, you know, if not better. So that's the other thing that's always made me a bit hesitant about cars that have been converted, because the trouble is, there's no doubt there's a few cowboys out there, and it's a big thing, and it's a safety thing as well.
Of course, yeah.
And after I had a look around the facilities, I mean, you know, long and short of it is, there was no argument, you know, it was like they do it properly. To be quite honest, especially seeing in the factory today, having a look around, they've probably made it and fixed a few things better than the factory has.
They are, yeah.
You know, so it's pretty good. Like the fit and finish is perfect. And I'm pretty fussy about stuff as well. You know, I hate things that aren't right. You know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I suppose it's coming from the motorsport industry, where everything has to be perfect. It just has to be, because if it isn't, something's going to go wrong. You'll break down and lose a race. It was the same thing. That just carries over, and I like everything perfect, and I hate anything that looks dodgy or feels dodgy. And it's just perfect. Like, you honestly can't pick it. I mean, you could go over that entire car and think that's how it came into the factory. There's no way you could pick anything. So probably one of the biggest things, and one of the things that's put me off of actually buying a car from the States before, is the conversion side of it. Is because I've seen a lot of cars over the years that have been converted from left to right-hand drive, and I tell you what, it's been a bit scary. I've opened the doors and there's gaps in the dashes, and just some of the mechanical aspects of it were pretty average, and that's probably what's put me off. And when I saw the team at Performax and saw the quality of workmanship and the guys in the factory, how skilled they are in the manufacturing all the parts that you need for the conversion of the car, there was just, without question, I was completely satisfied that the conversion was going to be as good, and in my opinion, I think it's actually better than what's come off the production line. It's a huge job, a lot more than what I thought. Very nice though. I reckon they've even solved a few of the problems and fitment problems that they've had from the factory. So you drive the car and it's perfect. Like you go over a bump, it's tight, nothing rattles, there's no squeaks. It feels good on the road, it feels tight. The steering feels a beautiful feedback through the wheel. The fitment of the dash is unbelievable. I can't get over how good everything is in the car. There's no gaps, everything's absolutely where it's supposed to be. So, you know, it's a big achievement. And when now seeing behind the scenes what actually goes into building the car and the extents that they go to make sure everything's perfect as well. I mean, they're using technology in the factory that we use on our race cars, exactly the same machinery. So they're onto it, they know what they're doing, and there's no shortcuts taken. So, like I said, I'm totally reassured that the conversion problem was a non-issue, that I know this car's safe, it'll drive good, and more importantly, it's going to last. You know, in the next 4, 5, 6 years, it'll drive like it is now. The good thing about it is, you know, a lot of people drive the cars and they drive it on a smooth road and everything feels nice on a smooth road. But we're on a fairly bumpy section of road here. It's got a few vibrations, little undulations in the road, and that normally brings out all the squeaks and rattles, even in a new car. But we're going along the road here, hit a few bumps, a few potholes here. Perfect. Well, there's not a squeak, not a rattle. Like I said, I've been in plenty of new cars, brand new Australian-built cars that have got more noises than what this has. This is absolutely perfect. So look at that, we've just gone over a decent-sized bump, not a thing. Like it's an absolute credit to the guys that have put the work into this car. It's just perfect.
If you did a total of all the work of the 31 guys here, I think we did the experiment one day and it's somewhere in the vicinity of 250 years of experience. So, you know, some guys have been here 12, 13, 14 years, you know, and you would probably think that over half the workforce has been here 3 or 4 years plus. So a lot of experience in it. It is a specialised operation, so there's many trades combined. So a lot of skill within the walls. Obviously, with any growing business, it's the importance of succession planning and upskilling your team is one of the critical things that you need to focus on. Getting guys also to go in between bays is another thing too. Getting guys who are skilled on not just trucks, but on Corvettes or Mustangs or Camaros. So also breaks up the monotony as well. The truck line goes through roughly 180 QA checks in its life here. Well, I mean, it's here for 5 days, so big focus on building quality into the process. The amount of care they take with, you know, wrapping the vehicles and the dedication, I think, of the technicians, it's apparent when they do come through. That's right, a lot of the guys here have grown with the business. They understand it, they know the ins and outs of it, and they very important for them, and I think a sense of pride when they actually achieve, you know, the vehicles going out at that standard gives them a sense of self-importance as well. I think that's important in your workforce, absolutely.